Good afternoon, welcome back. It is Monday, September 4th, 2023, with birthdays and events. I'm going to start way back in 1950 on this date. Johnny Mance wins the first Southern 500 at Darlington. There were over 80 cars that attempted to take time trials, and over 70 cars started this inaugural race. They did it in Indy 500 fashion, starting them three wide, nearly 25, 26 rows deep. I think there were 75 cars that started. But Johnny Mance, as the legend goes, used truck tires. I just recently found out that they weren't truck tires, but they were tires that were modeled after truck tires, or the compound was as such that they didn't wear out as quickly. And the other cars were using just dirt track and other softer tires, so other teams and drivers were having to stop many times. And of course, pit stops, as we know today, the more you pit, the more ground you lose on track. So essentially, that's how Johnny was able to win that race. 1967 on this day at Darlington. Once again, this is going to be a Darlington-centric episode. 1967 at Darlington, Richard Petty wins the Southern 500. And the significance of this race is it begins his 10-race win streak. So this was the first race in the 10-race win streak for Richard Petty in that amazing 1967 season. 1994 on this date, Bill Elliott wins his third and final Southern 500. The bigger historical marker for this event is this would be the final win as a car owner for Hall of Famer Junior Johnson. And then on this date, 1 year ago today in 2022, Eric Jones wins at Darlington. Not surprising because he had previously won a Southern 500, but this would be the last win for a car with any sort of Petty branding. So, as you remember, in 2022, it was known as Petty GMS. Then it was rebranded this year as Legacy Motor Club. Same team, but just no Petty branding to go along with it. So we got a few birthdays we're going to talk about real quick. Born on this day in 1939, passed away in 2004, longtime independent driver Bobby Wawak. Many of you probably have never heard of him, but he did run mid-pack back in the late 70s, had a couple different car owners where he would run anywhere between 8th and 20th on a regular basis. As the 80s came in and the prices started skyrocketing, he had to pick and choose the races that he ran. He was injured in a qualifying race in Daytona in 1988 that essentially ended his driving career. He continued to own cars for a couple more years. He would later become the show car driver for Hendrick Motorsports. We will start with a fairly recent driver in the IndyCar series, born on this day in 1979, Kosuke Matsura. I don't remember much about his time in IndyCar, but I remember his name. Aichi, Japan apparently was his hometown. But Kosuke Matsura is celebrating a birthday today. Born on this date in 1941, passed away in 2014. To date is the only Canadian driver to win a Cup Series race, Mr. Earl Ross. He did that at Martinsville in 1974. So you see it, Mr. Earl Ross. And then our final birthday of today, born in 1947, sadly passed away in 2021, one of the most legendary announcers for NASCAR and IndyCar, Mr. Bob Jenkins. Trying to see what track this is. It looks like that's Atlanta that he's broadcasting from there. But he was with ESPN, ABC, later would work with Speed Channel and some other networks once ESPN quit covering NASCAR. But we'll look at the backs of these cards too, so that way you can pause and read. He was the voice of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's Eli Gold commenting about Bob Jenkins. Always like the tracks from 91 because they give kind of a career analysis. And then 93 Max again, they kind of did a little bit of a career analysis. But that is that. That is our birthdays and events for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks again for watching. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you come back tomorrow where we will have something to rip. And then, of course, our fast packs and birthdays and events. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we will see you tomorrow.